Hey guys, Rukshan here. I'm doing something I thought I would never be doing, and that's discussing John Farnham as it relates to Australian politics. But here we are. And that is, of course, because John Farnham has lent his song, You're the Voice, to the Yes campaign as a gift. Now, that's been clarified that there was no money exchanged. I know that's been floated about yesterday and early this morning, but they've clarified that, saying that this was actually a gift. And for what that's worth, I'm guessing there was no monetary exchange for this. Now, if you're watching from around the world and you're wondering who the hell is John Farnham, what's this voice thing? We are having a referendum in our country about an advisory body and the recognition of Indigenous peoples in our constitution. And that, of course, there's a yes side and a no side to this referendum vote. And the yes side has secured one of the most iconic songs in Australia in the last few decades, an anthem of sorts. Some people claim it's an unofficial anthem. They've secured the song that is now a part of this advertisement about, voting yes and about being part of history. And look, all criticisms aside from my personal view on how this is all playing out, the advertisement itself, if you want it to be, get people's emotions running high and get them to kind of really feel something about Australia, it could be seen as a very effective style ad. Add to that, of course, John Farnham and this very iconic song that almost any Australian that's got, that is Australian in some way or another would have heard this song, You're the Voice, at some point in their lives, and particularly older Australians. I think the type of target market they're going for here with this commercial. Having said all of this, this has now become a point of controversy for John Farnham himself, with some fans upset with him, with the fan page actually on Facebook having to close off comments because of the negative style comments. And just to show you a overview of some of the things that people are saying, I'll just pull this up here. So we've got a comment here from Shazzy James. A very sad day to hear John Farnham allowing his song to be used for the Yes campaign. Selling yourself out to a divisive political stance. Have been a fan of yours for decades. You have just sold your soul to half of Australia. Shame on you. Vote no to the voice. Rob Grant says, you're not my voice, John Farnham. I used to think the song You're the Voice was for all Australians. Disappointed that John Farnham has decided to make it divisive and political. Have your say privately by voting John, but not like this. Still wish you well in recovery. And it must be noted that John Farnham over the last couple of years has had some health scares and is in the progress of these type of health scares as well. And a lot of the comments do still wish him well. And like anything, the people on the yes side are overwhelmingly pleased with the fact that John Farnham has decided to gift this iconic song to them, and very overwhelmingly positive supports and comments from this side. Now, as far as I'm concerned, we're in Australia. It's a free country. If an artist, whoever it may be, however famous and popular they may, and however iconic their song may be, if they so choose to give that to a political cause that they wish it to be aligned with, well, so be it. That is the beautiful thing about living in a country like Australia. But when you do that, and it is such a divisive style referendum that we're having, it's very divisive. The architect himself, Albanese, who I believe is responsible for this divisiveness in the manner in which it's being conducted, particularly around the claims of racism, purely for people asking questions and wanting to know more details and questioning some of the things which are being put forward by the government and the activists and the supporters of the Voice Yes side. It has become very divisive. So once you insert yourself into such a political debate, as John Farnham has done in this instance, whether we like the song or not, whether it brings up certain emotions and feelings, this is a very political style thing that's happening. This advertisement is geared towards changing people's minds, particularly people on the fence, through using emotion. Now, as someone who edits videos for a living and particularly edits wedding videos, a lot of the work that we do is about getting people to feel emotion. And one of the most powerful ways that you can get people to feel emotion is through the use of music, right? The use of music has a massive impact on the visuals. And that's just the basics of video editing. Now, if you have these type of visuals which are calling up historic moments in Australia, which has seen changes happening in our country, you add to the mix this iconic song, You're the Voice from John Farnham. Now, I'm not going to play the music because of copyright issues and, people might have a cry about it. I'm playing this ad because it was used for political purposes. If anyone wants to complain about that, I'm discussing the ad. Once you add that type of powerful music, right? Well, regardless of what you think of John Farnham and this song today, it's a powerful song. Once you add that to the mix, it is very impactful. So as an advertisement, I mean, kudos to these guys for putting this together, for getting John Farnham to agree to this and the agency, whoever, to agree to this. It's a big win for them in that sense. I mean, you got to give it to them. That is a powerful song. But, right, like me, I'm going to speak personally now for myself. I love that song. I love John Farnham's music, and there's not many Australian artists that I follow or like or that I had on my Spotify list, but John Farnham was one. And recently, I've had to mute John Farnham because I don't want that song to show up. I don't want it to come on my playlist. And I'm not a part of this cancel culture. I'm not about boycotting John Farnham or piling on and stuff, right? This guy is a legend in Australian music, and he's achieved so much and he's given so much and contributed so much to our community. But the reason I muted the song and the reason I'm not listening to that song is because for me now, when I hear that song, it is very divisive. For me personally, because I'm someone that is, strongly opposed to what is happening right now in this country around the referendum. I'm strongly opposed to the racial divisiveness that I see, in my opinion, to the fact checkers. This is my opinion on a vote that's happening in our country. I see it as racially divisive, and I see it as a form of racial separatism. Now, people can argue that point with me and tell me why I'm wrong. I don't care, but that's just the way that I see it. And there's many other Australians that see it this way. And particularly at the moment, right now, if you look at the voting numbers, at least from the news polling, right, I'm going to bring up the news polling on this just to give you an idea right now. Indigenous voice referendum from news poll, yes, is at 38. It's down 3 points from the last time this poll was taken. And the no is now up 5 points at 53. So overwhelmingly in this country right now, forgetting about this ad and the voice and all this kind of stuff, the song, the support is with the no side. And majority of Australians right now feel that they will not be voting yes when it comes to the date of the referendum. Now, ads like this, these kind of campaigns from both sides could have an impact on this. And this could very well have a small impact on this. But just by going by those numbers, the yes side has a very, very steep mountain to climb to get this over and to get their desired result. But what I'm saying is, for me, and I'm sure with the sentiments that I'm seeing online, there are many Australians who would be listening to this music today from John Farnham, this song, You're the Voice, and it would be attached to this yes vote. It would be attached to this divisiveness. It would be attached to this racial type of divisiveness that I see. And that is why I cannot no longer listen to this music at the present stage. Now, that might change in the future, but as it is right now. And some people might say, Rukshan, you sound like you're a triggered lefty. And maybe I am a little bit triggered by this. Who knows? You can put that down in the comments. But the reason I don't listen to it is because it has those divisive vibes for me, and I'm just not gelling with that. See, the power in a song like You're the Voice by John Farnham, and there's only in every country, there's a few songs by a few artists which have this powerful meaning that resonates with the entire population. And the reason that these songs are powerful is, and I think John Farnham knew this for a long time, and that is why he never gave it to a political group or a political cause. And people have pointed out that there were people at the lockdown protests and freedom rallies and other protests and climate protests, whatever it is, who play this song. And, they're always people in the record industry, or John Farnham would always distance himself and say, how that doesn't represent, I don't endorse this kind of song being played, and so on. And there's a great power in a song not having a political affiliation, because it can be, it can mean something to everyone, to anyone, to any feeling, right? And that is the great power in some amazing songs that we have around the world. But even in Australia, we have some amazing songs like this, which invoke all sorts of feelings in different people for different reasons. And that is why people love those songs. And by what John Farnham has done, and by what the Yes campaign has done, and by, in my opinion, hijacking this song for their cause to try and win some votes over, they have essentially destroyed the power of this song, of it being ambiguous in its meaning, right? So it can apply to so many different things. And I think it's a great shame. It's a great shame, because whatever happens in the next 6 weeks and after the October 14th, Australia, this country, this will go on, and we will have to come together in some form, one way or another. But in many ways, this song, particularly if the no camp does end up being the ones who win the vote, this song will be marred by this controversy, unfortunately. I don't think it impacts the legacy of John Farnham per se in the long term, because his legacy is something totally completely different. But this song itself, at least, I don't think it'll ever have the type of power and the meaning that it had and meant for so many Australians, for so many different things and for so many different reasons. And I think it could have kept on going for a long time into the future as being this type of powerful song. And today, now, it's just been reduced to this political weapon of the yes side, and it's been politicized, and John Farnham has had to take some of this backlash. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think. Did you think that I wasted my time today talking about John Farnham and the Yes campaign and this song, You're the Voice? Or do you think it's an important point that I'm making around the power of this type of music and the fact that it's now become political? It's a great shame and a loss to the music that resonates with everyone in this country. I hope that the no camp doesn't use any kind of very powerful songs like that. There's some suggestions of some songs by the Seekers and so on that they should try to get into an ad or something like this. I feel like this whole thing is so divisive as a country, and using these powerful songs, and same when Qantas kind of jumped on board with one side, it just kind of rips at the heart of Australia, in my opinion. Anyway, guys, I'm blabbering on now. If you're enjoying my videos, you can follow along and watch my content on X, on Rumble, on YouTube, Odyssey, Facebook, Instagram. I think that's most of them for now. And I'll be updating my website soon as well, because, with all these platforms, I'm having so much trouble with censorship. Bar X and Rumble, who have been pretty good at the moment. Anyway, guys, look for me at The Real Rukshan, or you can just type in my name, Rukshan Fernando. See you guys next time.